Hi, I'm Rebecca Valcarcel, author of The Other Half of Happy and Shine On Luz Velis. I often am asked what happens after you get an agent. So let's answer that. Okay, so imagine you've queried, let's say, 20 or 50 agents, and you finally have an offer of representation with somebody who is feeling like a good connection, somebody you trust, someone who's reputable, and with whom you feel like you can work on revising your work, probably. Okay, so now what happens? First of all, you will be revising. Unless this agent is very hands off, probably there will be at least one more revision of your book. It sounds like a heavy lift because, of course, you've maybe been revising for years on this book, but it's worth it because remember, the agent doesn't make money unless you make money. The agent wants the book to sell well to a good publisher for a high advance. And to have that happen, your book has to be fantastic. So if it's already good, that's great, but the agent will probably try to bring it up to the next level. Some agents are editorial agents, as is mine. And Katie Grimm from Don Congdon Associates will always work with me to perfect a piece or to even talk through ideas about what's missing in a book. The very first book we did, that is The Other Half of Happy, I had to rewrite the book several times, like 4 times, I think. So I gave her a version, she gave me feedback. Sometimes it was the digital file where she would put notes in the margins or, connect back to the text. So it was like track changes. She would write a long email to me explaining her thinking. We probably could have had a phone call, but I was pretty comfortable with her emails and the file. So I rewrote it and would resubmit it, and then she would send it back again, and we went back and forth several times. And finally, like a year later, she said, okay, we are ready to go out with this book, meaning I'm ready to submit it to editors and publishers. Now, remember, the agent has a lot of connections in the publishing world, ideally. The more experienced they are, the more personal friends, really, they have on the inside, and that's part of why an agent is so valuable. So the agent can send your book to a particular editor who is looking for the kind of work you're writing, and a particular press that is known for, or maybe the imprint of a press that's known for the kind of work you do. And a good agent will send with a very targeted approach, not just, off to wherever. So that's good news for you. And then what happens is rejections start coming. And you're used to this, right? Because rejection is the author's life. Of course, there are little acceptances along the way, but once the agent sends out these, submissions, sometimes the whole book to someone or sometimes a teaser and then send the whole manuscript, it takes a while for these editors to reply. So it's kind of like querying agents again, where you're sending out something and waiting and waiting. This time you and the agent together are waiting and waiting. Some editors get back quickly, some editors take a long time. Trust me, they are all overworked and they're receiving lots of submissions. And really, they have to be working on the current list of books as well as looking for new work. So they really want new, fantastic work, but it can take a while. The agent can kind of nudge them. If it's been a month or 2 or 3, the agent can say, hey, how's that going? Do you need anything more from me? And kind of nudge them to get back to you, but be ready. So then the agent has the job of giving you the rejections, and you can choose to have like a blow-by-blow every single time there's an email, you're told about it. I preferred to have my agent just kind of collate all of those and package them up and send them to me every month or 2 so that I could understand what was going on, but I didn't have to read rejections every day or every week. I felt like that would be demoralizing. So I just said, you send me kind of a summary, and that's what she did. So I would get an email saying, oh, this editor loved this and this, and there would be maybe like a copy paste from the good stuff that the editor said, and then there would be the stuff that the editor, confessed, well, I decided to pass on this. I didn't feel really connected to the character, or oh, I loved the writing, or I loved the character, but the plot wasn't quite engaging enough, or whatever. So we started to see the kinds of praise we were getting and the kinds of rejections we were getting, the kinds of complaints, I guess, about the book. And that was helpful because finally, when the book does sell, when an editor finally says, yes, I would like to acquire this book, you will probably be revising the book again and maybe multiple times before it's actually published. So sometimes those rejections give you already some idea of where those revisions are likely to be or what kinds of revisions you're looking at. Okay, so what happens when you get the yes? You might get a couple of editors interested in the book. It could even go to auction if it's a very fought over book. More likely you'll get like one or two. You might have a phone call with the editor to see if, again, if you can work together, kind of like the phone call with an agent. Because an editor is going to read every word of your book and scrutinize every word of your book, every character, every theme, and they will be working with you to create the final product. So you need to be able to feel that you are respected by this person, that you get along with this person, you trust their judgment. So it's important to feel good about the editor. So, okay, you've been on submission. That is, the agent has been sending your book out. You got an actual editor interested. Now the editor is going to have to take this proposal to his or her team or their marketing people and all the higher ups in the company. So the editor will have to sell your book kind of the way that you sold it to the agent sold it to the editor, now the editor has to sell it to the team. And occasionally the team will say, we just don't see this project working out. So the editor may have to come back and say, I wasn't able to get approval to make an offer on this book. But eventually we hope an editor will get approval from the team, everybody, to make an offer. And that's when your agent will now handle the legalities and try to take the offer that you're given and maybe ask for more money or different rights. The agent will look at the contract very carefully, make sure there's no surprising language in there that would take away anything from the author. And hopefully then you sign the dotted line and the book will be published. Now, maybe I need to make another video about what happens after that. But basically, at that point, you have some work ahead of you, but the most heavy lifting is done, which is great. So good luck with your submitting, your querying, or whatever stage you're at in the process, your writing. And know that I, too, have to start all over again when I write a new book. Even though I already have the agent, the publication is still something that's, negotiated. Chronicle has published both my books, both my novels, and I'm hoping to write a third novel, and perhaps Chronicle will want that one. I hope they do. But it's also possible to go to a different publisher. So as much as you want to love your editor, you may not be married to them forever. Also, the editor can quit that publisher and leave and get a new job. Your agent can do that too, so things are in flux in the publishing industry. So you have to enjoy the moment, enjoy the book you're working on at whatever stage, and do all you can to make it a success at all the different stages and levels. But don't lose track of the joy of writing, because that doesn't change. See you next time.